Hello designers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to learn how to make this underbust corset. So this underbust corset was made by the original designer without a cup around the bust region. And recreating this style, I decided to show us how we can achieve the bare skin effect at the bust region. And if you choose to also make use of a bra cup, maybe your client wants to be covered up, I would also show us how to go about it. So if this is what you would like to learn, kindly sit back and watch the tutorial to the very end. If you are coming across my channel for the first time, kindly subscribe to this channel. And if you are a returning viewer yet to subscribe, please do well to subscribe. And to everyone who has subscribed to this channel, I say a very big thank you. Now let's get into the video right away. So the first thing we need to do is to take our horizontal measurements. That's the chest line, the bust point, the underbust, the half length, and the hip line. Now we go ahead and take our shoulder measurement on the shoulder line and also on the chest line. Then we connect together to form the straight line. Next, we take our neck measurement, which is 3 by 3 inches for the front, and we connect with a curved ruler like so. For the front shoulder slope, I came down by 1.5 inches and then we connect it from the shoulder slope back to the neck with a straight ruler. From the chest line, we go up by 3 inches and then we come in by half an inch. And then we connect from the half an inch to the shoulder slope with a ruler. And on the chest line, we take our bust measurement divided by 4. In this case, I'm working with bust 38 divided by 4 will give me 9.5. So we connect our bust measurement back to the 0.5 inches we came in at the mid armhole. On the under bust, we take our nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. On the hem line, we take our 4 inches as well. And also on the bust point, we take the 4 inches and connect with a straight ruler. Once we are done connecting the points together, the next thing to do now is to do our underbust tightening. And for the tightening, I'm actually taking 1 inch on both sides. You can as well use 1.25, but for this draft, I'm taking 1 inch on both sides. I also went ahead to take my 1 inch at the hem line and then I connected it straight with a straight ruler. Sorry, I wasn't aware this part wasn't captured by the camera. So what I did was to connect my 1 inch to the hem line, that's the hip line, straight like that. On the bust point, I came down by half an inch and then with a curved ruler, I'll go ahead now and connect to my underbust. On the other side, I also went ahead with my curved ruler to give it the tightening that is needed. And that is what we have there. From my bust point, I came down by half an inch. And then from the half an inch mark, I also took another half an inch at that point. And at the underbust, half an inch. So I'm going to connect the half an inch from that point to the one at the underbust. This will serve as our bust bridge. Next, I took my curve and from the half inch we came down at the bust point. With the use of the curved ruler, I'll connect back to my underbust like so. Now on my bust point, I went ahead to take my bust measurement divided by 4, which is 9.5. And on my waistline, I went ahead to take my waist measurement divided by 4, which is 8 inches, plus the extra 2 inches for the dart that was added. And on the hip line, I also went ahead to take my hip measurement divided by 4, plus 2 inches for the dart. And so I'll connect the 3 points together with the straight ruler and my curved ruler. Once I'm done connecting the points together, the next thing I'll proceed to do is to take my bust darts, and to do that, I'll need to check the difference between the front waistline and the back waistline. In this case, my front waistline is 17.5 and the back is 15.5. So the difference between the two is 2 inches. So on my bust point line at the side front, I'll come down by 2 inches and then connect with a straight ruler to the bust point, like so. So next, I'm taking my corset length measurement, and the corset length I'm working with here is 23 inches. So from the shoulder, I will go ahead and take my 23 inches and then rule out my straight line at that point. So the 23 inches will serve as my blouse length. That's the inbuilt corset length. So I actually used 24 inches because of the design at the front, the slitted design at the front. So I used 24 inches. So at the side of my corset length, I will just give it a slight curve there, like so, back to the dart leg. Next, I will go ahead and cut through at the hem of the blouse and also slash my dart line opened so as to be able to fold the bust dart. I'm done cutting through, so I'll fold up my bust dart like so and then hold it down. Now that is done, I'll connect my waist back to my bust measurement with a straight ruler, and then I'll come in by 1 inch at the side of my pattern. I'll come in by 1 inch. So this 1 inch will serve as a guide for our curve. That's where the underbust curve will end. So from my underbust back to the 1 inch which I marked at the side armhole region, I'll connect with a curved ruler like so. Now that the curve has been marked, I'll open it up, and this is what we have. And we have been able to draft the underbust corset for the front and the yoke as well. So on the side, I'll come down by ½ an inch, and on the curve itself, I'll come down by 0.75. Yeah, I'll mark it 0.75, and then I'll connect both lines together with a straight ruler. So next thing I will do now is I'll go ahead and trace out our yoke parts of this underbust corset for us all to see. So the side which I'm tracing now is the yoke for this underbust corset. If you have taken time to watch this tutorial to this very point, kindly do well to subscribe to my channel, like this video, share with friends, and also turn on your notification bell so whenever I post a new video, you will get notified. So I've traced out the yoke parts, and also we have our underbust corset for the front. So next I'll go ahead now and cut through. So cut, fold your pattern paper at the bust area before cutting. Fold it and then go ahead, cut up to the point where you came down by 0.5. Ensure you follow through the marked out area when cutting so as not to make any mistake. So go ahead and cut through. I've been able to separate the yoke, and I'm also going to take out my darts at the underbust region. So that's exactly what I am doing. And at this point, I would put together my center front and my side front, and with a tape, I'm going to put them together. I just want one single piece for that part. So the next thing is I'm going to work on the yoke part of this pattern. I've permanently closed up my bust dart, and the dart on that part has been transferred to the underbust. So now I'll go ahead and cut out my underbust tightening at that region, and then I'll go ahead to draft the back pattern. Once that is done, this is what I have at the end of the day. Now for the back, we have the center back, we have the back half length, we also have the chest line and the hip line as well. So I'll go ahead and take my shoulder measurement just the same way we did for the front on both the up the top line and the chest line, and then I will connect with a straight ruler. Then I will take the neck measurement, which is 3 by 1 inch for the neck depth and the neck width, and I'll also connect like so. Now for the shoulder slope for the back pattern, I came down by 1 inch, and then I'll connect back to my neck width with a straight ruler. Next, I'll go ahead and divide my line into two, go in by 1/2 inch, and then connect with a straight ruler back to my shoulder slope. On the chest line, I'll also take the bust measurement and connect with a curve back to the mid armhole. Then for the waist, I'm working with waist 32. I'll go ahead and mark my 8 inches, and for the hip, I'm working with hip 43. So I'll go ahead and take my measurement. Then I'll connect the points together. Once this is done, I would go ahead and take my curved ruler to get the perfect curve for the hip. From the chest line at the side back, I came down by 1/2 inch, and at the chest line at the center back, I came down by 1 inch. I'll connect the lines together like so. On the new line, I will go ahead and take 1.5 inches from my center back, and on the hemline, I will take 1 inch, and then I'll connect with a straight ruler as well. Once I'm done connecting, I'll also take 2 inches for my lacing back, and that is what I rolled out, and that part will stand as my lacing back. So I'll go ahead now to trace out with my marker pen. So now I haven't taken my corset length for the back, so I'll get my front pattern paper, and then I will measure what I have from the front waist to the hem of the pattern, and whatever I have, I will place it. I have 6.5. I'll go ahead and mark my 6.5 on the back pattern, and then draw out with a straight ruler. So that part will serve as my blouse length, the corset length. Also at the hem, I came up by 1/2 inch, and then with a curved ruler, I'll give it a slight curve, just the same way we did for the front. Then I'll go ahead and complete my tracing with my marker pen. So we have the lower part of the back bodice. Next, we'll proceed to the yoke region to give our yoke its own design. On my center back at the neck region, I came down by 2 inches, and with a curve, I'll connect it back to the loop, the 2 inches that was taken for my loop stand. So I'll connect it like so. Next, I will tighten my yoke by 0.5 inches and connect back to my side back. So the marked out part is the part that won't be needed any longer in this pattern. So we have the back yoke and we have the lower part of the back. I'll proceed now to cutting out our back pattern. And once you're done cutting, I will go ahead and transfer the pattern to fabric, adding our seam allowances on fabric. So this is what the front and the back pattern looks like after drafting. Now for the front yoke, I'll go ahead and give a curve for that part, just exactly the way you want yours to be. So I came down by 1/2 inch from the neckline, and then with my curved ruler, I just drew out my curve for the front, connecting it back to where we have the bust bridge. Please note that before I went ahead to cut out this part, I actually placed my paper, another paper, a fresh paper on fold, and then I placed my yoke on it. So I am going to use the fresh paper to cut out my yoke. I'm done cutting now. I'll open up my yoke. So this pattern is actually the one that I will use to cut out our yoke. Now for the yoke, I made use of a black tulle net and also my chantilly net. I doubled the tulle net and then placed my chantilly net on it like so. Now I'll go ahead and pin down my yoke and also add up my seam allowance, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So this is exactly what I have after cutting through, adding my allowance at that part. I actually opened up my darts, I cut through, and then I added my seam allowance also at that region. Then I opened up my pattern at the center and then cut through, also adding my allowance at that part of the yoke. After cutting, this is what it looks like. This is what I have. Now I have my front and my back yoke cut out, and also the other pattern piece cut out. That's for the front and for the back. I added my interfacing on my fabric before cutting, both for the front and for the back. So this is what we have at the end of the drafting and cutting. Now let's proceed to sewing our patterns together. So the first thing I did was to open up my front piece. This is my lining. I used a doll face fabric for the lining and a crepe fabric as the main fabric. So I went ahead to fold my lining, and then I pressed the lines for the boning channel. So after that, I went ahead to join my back piece to my front side by side with the side seam. I joined fabric to fabric and lining to lining. So this is my lining piece. Doll face fabric was used for the lining, and I also notched the waist area of this. So the next is to insert my boning. So I went ahead on the parts which are already ironed out, I fixed my regular bone. So I actually did that. The parts you see, the bones, are the parts which were ironed out. So now I'll move to the yoke area. For the front yoke, I'll go ahead and sew up the keyhole area first, and once I'm done sewing up that area, I will turn it over to the other side, and also I will go ahead to sew up my darts. So I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So this is what I have after sewing my keyhole area and turning it to the other side. Remember that the black tulle net serves as the lining for the chantilly net. So with this, you would have a bearskin effect if you choose not to use your cup. So this is my darts part. I've gone ahead to sew up my darts. So the next thing I did was to draft my sleeve pattern and also transfer to my chantilly net. So I went ahead to add up my seam allowance around my sleeve, and then I'll go ahead to cut. After cutting, this is what I have. So I went ahead to join my yoke together, the back and the front yoke at the shoulder side. So I went ahead to do that, and after joining, I also proceed to fixing my sleeve. So the first part I fixed was the yoke area, the back to the front, and then I also go ahead to attach my sleeve. So I'll pin down this sleeve to the armhole area and then take it to the sewing machine and sew through. I'll come back and show you what exactly it looks like. So this is it after joining the sleeve to the yoke, to the front and back yoke. I've also attached my turtleneck. So I actually missed a clip here, but then I would take time to explain. So after turning over my front pattern, I went ahead to pick the front fabric. Now I need the darts on the front yoke to match up with the part where we have the darts on my front fabric. So that is exactly what I'm trying to do here. So with my pattern paper, I'll be able to figure out the parts where I have the darts. Yeah, so I placed my pattern paper like so, and then I will notch that part where we have the joining of the side center front and the side front. I marked that part and then I went ahead to notch. So after notching was when I proceeded to joining the back and the front yoke together. And when I was done joining the front, the back, and the sleeve, I went ahead to fix my yoke to my bodice. That's the yoke was fixed to the main fabric, and then I also went ahead to turn over with my lining. So I will take that again. After fixing the back and the front yoke together with the sleeve, I have completed my yoke part. I went ahead to join my yoke to my main fabric, just the way I'm matching them up together now. I went ahead to join them together, and then I used the lining to turn it over to the other side. I hope you understand. If you don't, you can drop your question in the comment section. I would take my time to explain. So you have your yoke well secured. Go ahead and pin down the yoke to the main fabric, just like so. And once you are done pinning, take it to the sewing machine and sew it down from the center front, like so, to the center back. Then you use your lining to turn it over, and this is what we have after going through that process. So at this point, I already fixed my yoke to my bodice, and I also did my eyelet. So you will see that the boning was actually fixed on the lining, and the lining was used to turn the main fabric. So we have our yoke inserted in between the fabric and the lining, and then our tulle net also served as our lining for the chantilly net at the yoke area. And this is what we have after sewing the yoke to the underbust corset. And for your client that wants a bare skin effect, you can actually leave it like this and just use a nipple guard to just cover up the nipple area, so it will look exactly like the way it was on the original design. But then if your client wants it covered, like you can see my hand underneath it, that's exactly the way your skin will show on that. So but if your client wants it covered, use your cup. So this is my cup. I've actually gone ahead to cover up my cup, both the front and also aligning the cup rather. So I'll drop a link on how you can cover up your cup for this kind of underbust corset, how you can cut your lining, your cup cover, and then you can also use for your underbust corset like so. So what you see me doing here is to insert my cup so as to cover up the bust region, because my client doesn't want the bare skin effect. She wants a little cover at that area. So I went ahead to insert my cup, and once I'm done inserting this cup with my pin, I would pin it down to the fabric, and then we'll see what it looks like. So I'm done inserting the cups, and then I would pin and secure down my cup. So this part requires a lot of patience. Take your time to pin down your cup, and then at the end, this is what we have. After pinning down the cup, I went ahead to use the lace to cover up the keyhole opening and also the underbust region. So thank you so much for taking your time to watch this tutorial video. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.